on becoming a person who makes healthy choices. Instead of setting a goal to be more productive, you focus on becoming a person who values discipline and efficiency. When your habits align with the person you want to become, change becomes more sustainable because it's rooted in your identity, not just in temporary motivation. It's also important to remember that the process of shaping your future self through your habits is ongoing. It's not something that you do once and then forget about. You must continually evaluate your habits and make adjustments as needed. Life changes, circumstances shift, and what worked for you at one stage of life might not work at another. The key is to remain adaptable and committed to growth. As long as you stay conscious of your habits and their impact on your future self, you'll be able to make the necessary changes to keep moving forward. Your future self is not some distant, abstract concept. It's being created right now, in the present moment, by the habits you choose to engage in today. If you want to become the best version of yourself, start by examining your habits. Are they leading you toward the future you desire? If not, take action now. Make the necessary changes, no matter how small they may seem, because those small changes will add up over time. Your habits are the building blocks of your future, and the choices you make today will determine who you become tomorrow. The habits you cultivate have a profound impact on your level of success, happiness, and overall sense of fulfillment in life. Often we look at successful individuals and attribute their achievements to talent, intelligence, or sheer luck. But the truth is, behind every successful person is a set of consistent, productive habits that have been carefully developed over time. Habits are powerful because they automate your behavior, guiding your actions without requiring much conscious effort. They shape your life in ways you might not even realize. Think of habits as the invisible architecture of your daily life. Each day you follow routines and patterns that dictate how you spend your time, how you react to challenges, and how you move toward or away from your goals. Over time, these seemingly insignificant daily choices compound, creating the framework for your future. This is why the habits you practice, no matter how small or routine they may seem, have a direct correlation to your long-term success or failure. It's important to recognize that your current habits are not fixed. They are learned behaviors, which means they can be unlearned and replaced with more productive ones. However, the challenge many people face is that they often remain stuck in a cycle of bad habits, unaware of their long-term consequences. For instance, a habit of procrastination might seem harmless in the short term, but over time it can prevent you from achieving your goals, stalling your personal and professional growth. The real power of habits lies in their ability to either propel you forward or hold you back. Good habits, when repeated consistently, create momentum. They build a foundation for success by reinforcing positive behaviors. For example, developing the habit of setting clear goals and taking daily steps toward them will naturally bring you closer to achieving your dreams. The small, consistent actions you take every day compound over time, leading to significant results. On the other hand, negative habits can be incredibly detrimental to your success. These are the habits that often go unnoticed because they're so ingrained in your daily routine that they feel automatic. Whether it's checking social media every few minutes, skipping workouts, or avoiding difficult tasks, these habits can slowly erode your progress and keep you from reaching your potential. What makes bad habits particularly dangerous is their subtlety. You might not notice the immediate impact of a negative habit, but over time it can lead to a decline in your productivity, health, and overall well-being. The key to unlocking your potential and reaching your goals lies in understanding the role your habits play in your life. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change your habits. This begins with awareness. You need to take an honest look at the habits that are shaping your daily life and determine whether they are helping or hindering your progress. Are your habits aligned with the future you want to create? If not, it's time to make a conscious effort to change them. One of the most powerful strategies for changing your habits is to focus on small, incremental improvements. Often people try to make drastic changes overnight only to become overwhelmed and give up. Real, lasting change happens gradually. Instead of trying to completely overhaul your life, focus on improving one habit at a time. Start small, perhaps with something as simple as waking up 30 minutes earlier each day or committing to reading for 10 minutes before bed. These small changes may seem insignificant, but over time they add up and create a ripple effect in other areas of your life. Another effective way to change your habits is to link them to a specific trigger or routine that's already part of your day. For example, if you want to develop the habit of exercising regularly, try linking it to an activity you already do, such as brushing your teeth in the morning or coming home from work. By associating the new habit with an existing routine, you make it easier to integrate into your life. Over time, the new behavior will become automatic, just like the rest of your daily habits. It's also important to recognize that changing your habits is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. You will face challenges and setbacks along the way, but what matters most is your ability to stay committed. Habits don't change overnight, and there will be days when you fall back into old patterns. When this happens, it's important not to be discouraged. Instead, view setbacks as part of the process and use them as opportunities to learn and grow. Accountability can also play a significant role in habit formation. When you share your goals and habit changes with others, you create a sense of responsibility. Whether it's a friend, family member, or coach, having someone to hold you accountable can increase your chances of sticking with new habits. It's harder to give up on a goal when you know someone else is counting on you to follow through. The most successful individuals understand the power of habits and use them to their advantage. They know that success is not about making grand gestures or dramatic changes, but about consistently practicing the right habits day after day. By focusing on the small daily actions that move you closer to your goals, you can create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success. Your habits are the building blocks of your future. The choices you make today, no matter how small, will determine the trajectory of your life. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. Be intentional about the routines you follow and the behaviors you practice. Over time, these small, consistent actions will lead to lasting transformation. Remember, the habits you form today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Take control of your habits, and you will take control of your future. The key to sustainable change lies in consistency, not intensity. It's common for people to feel motivated and energized when they first decide to change a habit, and they often set ambitious goals to overhaul their lives all at once. They may vow to exercise every day for an hour, read a book a week, or adopt a completely new diet. However, this intense burst of motivation can often fade as quickly as it appears, leading to frustration and eventual failure when the individual can't keep up with the high demands they've placed on themselves. This is where the power of consistency comes into play. Sustainable change is not about making huge, dramatic shifts overnight. It's about making small, incremental changes that you can stick with over the long term. These small changes, when done consistently, have a compounding effect over time, leading to significant transformation. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world credit their achievements to their ability to be consistent in the small, everyday actions that others might overlook. Consider the process of building a house. You wouldn't expect to complete the entire structure in one day. Instead, you lay one brick at a time, knowing that each brick contributes to the foundation of the house. Over time, as you continue laying bricks consistently, you eventually end up with a fully built home. The same principle applies to habit change. Every small, positive action you take builds on the one before it, creating a strong foundation for lasting transformation. The challenge for many people is that they want to see immediate results. In a world of instant gratification, it's easy to become impatient when the results of your efforts aren't immediately visible. But true change doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires patience and persistence. When you commit to small, consistent actions, you may not notice the impact right away, but over time, those small actions will accumulate and lead to significant outcomes. One of the reasons why consistency is so important is because it creates momentum. When you take small steps toward your goal every day, you build a sense of progress and accomplishment. This progress fuels your motivation and keeps you moving forward, even when the initial excitement wears off. Consistency turns the practice of habit change into something automatic, so that over time it becomes a natural part of your routine rather than something you have to force yourself to do. Another key reason why consistency is essential for habit change is that it reinforces new neural pathways in the brain. When you engage in a habit repeatedly, your brain strengthens the connections associated with that behavior, making it easier and more automatic over time. This is why it's often said that neurons that fire together, wire together. The more you perform a habit, the more deeply ingrained it becomes in your brain, and the easier it is to continue doing it in the future. It's important to note that consistency doesn't mean perfection. Many people give up on their habit changes because they expect themselves to be perfect from the start. They set unrealistic standards, and when they inevitably fall short, they become discouraged and quit altogether. The truth is, setbacks are a normal part of the process. What matters is not whether you slip up occasionally, but whether you can pick yourself up and get back on track. Consistency is about showing up, even when you don't feel like it, and staying committed to the process, even when progress feels slow. A helpful strategy for maintaining consistency is to focus on process-oriented goals rather than outcome-oriented goals. Many people set goals that are solely focused on the end result, such as losing a certain amount of weight, earning a specific income, or achieving a certain level of success. While these goals can be motivating, they can also lead to disappointment if the results don't come as quickly as expected. Instead, focusing on process-oriented goals, such as exercising for 30 minutes a day, or dedicating an hour to learning each evening, shifts your attention to the actions you can control. This approach allows you to celebrate small wins along the way and keeps you focused on the steps that will eventually lead to your desired outcome. To ensure consistency, it's also important to make your habits as easy as possible to follow. One common mistake people make is setting overly ambitious goals that require too much effort to sustain. When a habit is difficult or inconvenient, it's more likely to be abandoned over time. Instead, simplify the habit as much as possible in the beginning. For example, if your goal is to exercise every day, start with just 10 minutes of activity. As that habit becomes ingrained, you can gradually increase the intensity or duration. The key is to make the habit so simple that it's hard to say no. Accountability is another powerful tool for maintaining consistency. When you have someone to report your progress to, whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor, you're more likely to stay on track. This is because accountability creates a sense of responsibility and external pressure to follow through on your commitments. In fact, some people find it helpful to join a community or group that shares similar goals, as the collective effort and support can further reinforce consistency. Consistency is the driving force behind sustainable habit change. It's not about making radical changes overnight, but about committing to small, manageable actions that you can repeat day after day. Over time, these small actions will compound, leading to lasting transformation. So if you want to change your habits in your life, focus on being consistent. Show up every day, even when it's difficult, and trust that your efforts will pay off in the long run. With consistency, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Habits have the power to shape not only your day-to-day activities, but also the trajectory of your life. When you understand the compounding effect of habits, you begin to see that what may seem like small, insignificant actions can accumulate into substantial outcomes over time. The compounding effect, much like compound interest in finance, refers to the idea that consistent, incremental improvements lead to exponential growth. In other words, small daily habits, when repeated over time, create a snowball effect, allowing you to achieve far more than you ever imagined. Consider this: if you improve just 1% each day, by the end of the year, you will have improved by over 37%. This kind of progress may seem small in the short term, but over time, the impact is monumental. The compounding effect of habits works both ways, though. Positive habits can build up to remarkable success, while negative habits can compound into significant problems. Understanding this can help you appreciate the importance of being intentional about the habits you cultivate. The power of compounding lies in its subtlety. Most people expect big results to come from big actions. They want dramatic transformations, and they want them quickly. However, true success is rarely the result of one grand gesture. Instead, it's the result of small, repeated actions that build upon each other over time. For example, if you set aside a small amount of money each day, it may not seem like much at first. But with consistency, that small amount can grow into a large sum thanks to the compounding effect. The same principle applies to your habits. One of the reasons why the compounding effect of habits is so powerful is that it operates quietly in the background. You may not immediately see the impact of a good habit, but over time, it becomes undeniable. Take, for example, the habit of exercising regularly. If you work out for 30 minutes a day, you may not notice a huge difference in your health or fitness after a week, but after several months or a year, the cumulative effect of those daily workouts will be clear. You'll be stronger, healthier, and more energetic. On the flip side, if you skip workouts regularly, you may not see the negative effects right away. But over time, your fitness will decline, and you may face health issues as a result. The compounding effect of habits can also be seen in areas like learning and personal growth. Reading for 10 minutes a day may not seem like much, but over the course of a year, those small increments of reading add up. You'll have gained knowledge, developed new skills, and expanded your perspective. The key is to remain consistent, even when it feels like your efforts aren't making a noticeable difference. Remember, the results of compounded habits take time to reveal themselves, but when they do, they are often transformative. Negative habits compound in the same way, and this is where the danger lies. Small, seemingly harmless bad habits can accumulate into serious problems if left unchecked. For example, procrastinating for 10 minutes here and there throughout the day may not feel like a big deal. But over time, those wasted minutes add up to hours, and those hours add up to days of lost productivity. Similarly, indulging in unhealthy foods or skipping exercise occasionally may seem inconsequential in the moment, but over time, these choices can lead to weight gain, health issues, and a decline in overall well-being. The compounding effect of habits underscores the importance of being mindful of your daily actions. It's easy to overlook the small decisions you make each day because they don't seem to have an immediate impact. But when you take a step back and consider how those decisions add up over time, you realize that they play a significant role in shaping your future. Every habit, whether positive or negative, compounds over time, and the results can either work in your favor or against you. To harness the power of the compounding effect, it's essential to focus on progress, not perfection. Many people get discouraged when they don't see immediate results from their efforts, leading them to give up on their goals. But success isn't about achieving perfection right away. It's about making small, consistent improvements every day. Even if you make mistakes or experience setbacks, as long as you keep moving forward, the compounding effect will work in your favor. It's also important to recognize that the compounding effect applies to both your actions and your mindset. Your thoughts and beliefs have a powerful influence on your habits. If you constantly think negative thoughts or doubt your abilities, those beliefs will compound over time, reinforcing a mindset of fear and self-doubt. On the other hand, if you cultivate a mindset of growth, positivity, and resilience, those beliefs will compound as well, empowering you to take action and make progress toward your goals. The compounding effect also highlights the importance of patience. In today's fast-paced world, people often expect immediate results. They want to see instant success, and when they don't, they become frustrated and give up. But the truth is, real change takes time. The most successful people understand that the compounding effect of habits requires patience and persistence. They trust the process, knowing that small, consistent efforts will eventually lead to significant rewards. Another way to leverage the compounding effect is to create systems that support your habits. Systems are the routines, processes, and structures that make it easier for you to stay consistent with your habits. For example, if your goal is to read more, you could create a system where you read for 10 minutes every morning before starting your day. By building habits into your daily routine, you make it easier to stay consistent, allowing the compounding effect to work in your favor. The compounding effect of habits is one of the most powerful forces in personal development. It can work for you or against you, depending on the habits you choose to cultivate. By focusing on small, positive habits and remaining consistent over time, you can achieve extraordinary results. The key is to trust the process, stay patient, and recognize that success is the result of many small actions compounded over time. To break free from the grip of old, unproductive habits, you must first bring them into the light of awareness. Many of the habits that shape your life operate on autopilot. They are ingrained patterns that have been repeated so often that they become automatic responses. Without conscious effort, you continue to follow these routines, even when they no longer serve you. This is why so many people struggle to make lasting changes in their lives. They remain trapped by their habitual behaviors because they are unaware of the full extent to which those behaviors influence them. The first step to transforming your life is to take an honest and careful inventory of your current habits. This requires a level of self-reflection and self-awareness that can be uncomfortable at times. You must ask yourself difficult questions. What habits do I engage in every day? How are these habits contributing to or detracting from my goals? Which habits have I been holding on to simply because they are familiar, even though they are holding me back? This process of examining your habits is not about self-criticism or blame. Instead, it's about shining a light on patterns of behavior that may have been hidden from your conscious awareness. Bringing your habits into conscious awareness means paying attention to the triggers and cues that lead to certain behaviors. Many habits are initiated by external or internal triggers, such as certain times of day, emotions, or specific environments. For example, you might find that you always reach for a snack when you're bored, or that you procrastinate on important tasks whenever you feel overwhelmed. By identifying these triggers, you gain valuable insight into the forces that drive your habits. This awareness allows you to interrupt the automatic cycle of behavior and make more intentional choices about how to respond. Once you have identified the habits that are not serving you, the next step is to consciously replace them with new, more productive behaviors. Simply trying to eliminate a bad habit without replacing it with something better is often a recipe for failure. This is because habits serve a purpose, even if that purpose is not immediately obvious. For example, a habit of procrastination may serve as a way to avoid discomfort or fear of failure. If you remove the habit without addressing the underlying need it fulfills, you may find yourself slipping back into the same old pattern. To successfully break a habit, you must identify what you want to achieve instead and create a new behavior that meets the same need in a healthier, more productive way. This new behavior should be aligned with your long-term goals and values, and it should be something you can consistently practice. Over time, as you continue to replace the old habit with the new one, the new behavior will become ingrained and automatic, just like the old habit once was. But this process requires commitment, patience, and a willingness to be mindful of your actions each day. Another crucial element of bringing your habits into conscious awareness is understanding the role that your environment plays in shaping your behaviors. Your surroundings, both physical and social, have a powerful influence on the habits you develop. For example, if your home is cluttered and disorganized, you may find it harder to focus or be productive. If you spend time with people who engage in negative behaviors, such as gossiping or complaining, you may be more likely to adopt those behaviors yourself. To change your habits, you must also change your environment in ways that support the behaviors you want to cultivate. This might mean organizing your workspace, removing distractions, or surrounding yourself with people who inspire and encourage you to be your best. It could also mean creating reminders or visual cues that prompt you to engage in positive behaviors. For instance, if you're trying to develop a habit of exercising regularly, you could place your workout clothes where you can see them first thing in the morning. Small changes to your environment can have a big impact on your ability to follow through on new habits. It's important to develop a heightened sense of mindfulness about your daily actions. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When applied to your habits, mindfulness allows you to observe your behaviors with curiosity and openness, rather than reacting automatically. This helps you become more aware of the choices you make and the consequences they have. By being mindful of your habits, you can catch yourself before you fall back into old patterns and consciously choose a different course of action. Mindfulness also helps you build resilience when you encounter setbacks. It's inevitable that you will face challenges and moments of temptation as you work to change your habits. When this happens, mindfulness allows you to respond with compassion rather than frustration. Instead of beating yourself up for slipping up, you can acknowledge the difficulty of the moment and gently guide yourself back on track. This self-compassion is key to maintaining motivation and staying committed to the process of habit change. The process of bringing your habits into conscious awareness is not something that happens overnight. It's a journey that requires ongoing attention and reflection. As you continue to examine your habits, you may discover new layers of insight about yourself and your motivations. You may also find that as you grow and evolve, the habits that once served you well no longer align with the person you want to become. This is a natural part of the process, and it's a sign that you are continuing to move forward on your path of personal growth. The ability to change your life begins with the decision to bring your habits into conscious awareness. By doing so, you take control of the automatic behaviors that have been shaping your life, and you empower yourself to make intentional choices that align with your goals and values. The more aware you become of your habits, the more freedom you have to shape your life in the direction you desire. It's a process that requires time, effort, and patience, but the rewards are well worth it. With conscious awareness, you can break free from old patterns and create the life you truly want to live. In conclusion, lasting change in your life begins with a deep understanding of your daily habits. The small, consistent actions you take each day are the building blocks of your future, shaping who you become and what you achieve. By recognizing the power of habits, breaking free from old patterns, and being intentional about creating new ones, you can harness the compounding effect of positive behaviors. This requires self-awareness, mindfulness, and a commitment to progress over perfection. As you consciously choose habits that align with your goals and values, you take control of your destiny, empowering yourself to build the life you desire. Change your habits, and you will change your life.